Many of you guys know just how critical I am of Hodinkee pretty much since the inception of this channel. You know, I used to be a fan of theirs. I pay attention to what they're talking about because I see how influential they are in the world of horology. So when they make a mockery of this hobby by posting articles about how sharing a watch with someone is akin to having your lover sleep with someone else in front of you. Like, really bizarre things that I've brought up on this channel. I can't bite my tongue. When they do these bizarre things, you need to know about it. But I also have to give credit where credit is due, and I'm giving Hodinkee some grace here, especially after Ben Clymer's recent announcement that they're going to try to go back to the good old days when Hodinkee was actually about the love of watches. And it kind of seems like Hodinkee and my worlds have collided a little bit here. Hodinkee's going back to their past, and somehow it's taking me back to mine. Let's talk about this. It is 1:02 p.m. Let's get down to business. So here we have an article from Hodinkee. They posted it on the 7th of October, a couple days ago, and it's actually quite a good read. Really great photos, and it's about a watch that is very important to me and this channel, the Rolex Bubbleback. Now, for my very, very long-time viewers, you will know the first video I ever uploaded on YouTube was about my Bubbleback 2940, a watch I absolutely love and still own, and that is the watch that kind of started it all, literally, for me. That was the first time teller video ever, and I only made it because my best friend Patrick told me that, hey, that's kind of a really obscure watch. Maybe, you know, you're blathering on about it, you're talking my ear off about it. Why don't you just record yourself and post it on YouTube? And I was like, I'm not even really an expert, and I don't think anyone else is going to care about this old junky Rolex. And sure enough, a bunch of you guys actually did care, and that's why, you know, we are here today. But this article does a very good job talking about just how cool these old Oyster Perpetuals are. So let's dig a little deeper into this article, and I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below. And I want to say, although we're reminiscing about my beginnings here on the internet, this is potentially, you know, looking back to when Hodinkee was actually writing up good articles with great photos. Is this a sign that Hodinkee is changing? They're going back? They're doing good? Well, we'll see. Now, I love the first sentence in this article. Too small, hard to service, old, and out of style. It's very, very funny because that's pretty much all the hater comments that I get on that video. People are like, it's too old, it's small, it's out of style, and who the heck is going to service that? Well, thankfully, I've had it serviced a bunch. In fact, I made an episode years and years ago about how I dropped it. I had a spring bar failure and it landed on a concrete, just, oh my gosh. I cracked the crystal and I took it to TikTok Watch Repairs and they fixed it right up. And luckily nothing was damaged too badly. But it is very serviceable and it's very, very important for the history of Rolex. Now, one thing I really love about this article, other than the really great photos and the great selection of Bubblebacks that they have, dude, this gold small seconds Bubbleback, this is like goals. This is goals for me, man. When I get into some more money, I'm definitely going to be searching for some of these. And I'm going to be honest, I think Bubblebacks are some of the most fun Rolexes to collect. And it's because there were a ton of them that look, you know, similar in case shape and design, like hooded lugs, but there are some without hooded lugs. But they all have kind of a similar profile, but there's a bunch to choose from with very different dial variations. Some have small seconds, some don't. Some are Rolazor, so like two-tone, what Rolex calls it. Like mine has a gold bezel, but a stainless steel case and lugs. and some are just solid precious metal like this, and there's just a whole bunch to learn about and collect. And I love how they wear larger than they list on paper thanks to that oyster case, but it's just very, very Rolex. And when you look at the rich history of these watches, very early automatic Agler movement for Rolex, very early oyster case with the threaded crown for Rolex. This is kind of Rolex distilled, you know what I mean? It's like proto, like an OP that you would have on your wrist today. This is literally where it all started. Just look at that watch, dude. It's incredible. Now, this article does a very good job talking about the 1980s and how these watches really became popular around Los Angeles. Now, I live in Los Angeles currently, and I have what is called a California dial, which we can see here on this stunning example of that solid gold bubble back. Look at that, small seconds, just gorgeous, with a very, very nicely patinaed California dial. Now, they bring up Kirk Rich, who was a very famous dial refinisher here in SoCal, and my dial has a Kirk Rich California dial. It's just an awesome piece of history, and this article brings up how in the 1980s, these bubble backs kind of had a renaissance, where collectors were kind of learning, like rediscovering them and scooping them up. And like I said, when I hit the big times, I think I'm going to go back and pick up a bunch of bubble backs and just wear them, because my 2940 is just, I cherish that watch. I absolutely love it. And the fact that it was kind of the beginning to my channel, it's even that much more special. People ask me all the time if I still have it. I still have it, definitely. I keep it locked away, not because I'm worried about it, but because I hate bringing this up all the time, but I am injured and I walk with a cane and I go to physical therapy and blah, 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 blah. And I'm bumping into door frames all the time, and I don't want to break any of my vintage watches. So the vintage watches are remaining in the safe. Right now, I am wearing a very hearty Rolex, or excuse me, I'm not wearing a Rolex. I am wearing a very hearty Chris Ward 12X, but I also do wear my Rolex 16, oh my God. I almost forgot the reference number. I had like a huge brain fart. 16570. Dude, what the heck? The Explorer 2, 40 millimeter oyster case. Love that watch. And my Tuna, right? So just some watches that are still cool, still have personality, but are robust enough for a clumsy klutz like me. Now, Hodinkee did a great job curating some of these very old school retro advertisements for these Rolex Oyster Perpetuals. Dude, so gorgeous. Man, these are just incredible watch. Look at this. Look at that. They bring up Japanese condition. So here's a little inside baseball. If you're looking to find very high-end pre-owned watches and vintage watches, the Japanese market is pretty much the place to go. Now, I will say, just because it's from Japan doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, and just because it's from Japan doesn't mean it's going to be authentic 100% of the time. You still need to do your due diligence. And again, if you need help finding a watch, you can email us, info@thetimetellershop.com. Even if you're not purchasing a watch from my store, we will try to lead you in the right direction. But for some reason, the Japanese, they are so anal about the products that they have. They keep them in such meticulous condition. And although I am not a camera snob, I'm still very familiar with camera equipment because I make a living filming things and taking pictures of things. And when people look for lenses and camera bodies and things like that, the Japanese market, again, is like the place to go. When people are looking for bespoke and vintage leather goods and even denim, for some reason, the Japanese market is the place to go. So these Japanese collectors of things tend to take very good care of their items. And this article kind of talks about how the Japanese condition of these Oyster Perpetuals, I mean, look how immaculate, right? Like the dial is practically unpatinated. Two very interesting examples: a deep blue dial, again probably refinished, and then a really nice kind of patinated chocolate dial over on the left. Gorgeous watches either way. I absolutely love these bubble backs. Justice for the bubble back. I know some people just think they're way too old and uninteresting, but man, I think that these are some of the most gorgeous, interesting Rolexes to choose from, and they're kind of like Rolex distilled, right? They're like concentrated Rolex. Oyster Perpetual, early Agler movement, threaded crown, just very, very OP. But yeah, I'm hoping Hodinkee does more of these great articles. And I know I'm biased. I'm very excited when anybody wants to gush about the love for these bubble backs. But one of my favorite Rolex series ever. And again, the start of my channel. I want to thank each of you for hanging out with me for as long as you have. The support that I get here at the Time Teller channel, the support that I get over on Instagram, and then with my new channels, my other channel, EIG, Everything is Gay. You can go over there. I'll link it in the description below, but we just broke past 17,000 subscribers, so you guys rock. I appreciate every single one of you. Hodinkee, I appreciate your article on the bubble back, and it was just fun taking a trip down memory lane with you guys. All right, I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.